Have you ever caught a whiff of a smell so enchanting that it almost felt like it pulled you closer? And I'm not talking about fancy perfume or aftershave, but a natural scent, something so deeply primal, it's somehow irresistible. If you have, you're not alone. If you watched my previous video about how the scent of men influences women, you might remember the experiment by Klaus Wedekind. In that study, women were asked to smell t-shirts worn by men for several nights and rate their attractiveness based on nothing more than their natural odor. What they found was surprising. Women were more attracted to men whose MHC, major histocompatibility complex, were different from their own. This genetic diversity led to healthier offspring. And today, we are flipping the script. We'll be looking at how the scent of women affects men's perception and what it reveals about our attraction. Now, imagine walking into a room filled with people, or a cave, like this one. You notice the usual sights, like smiles, outfits, hairstyles. But what you don't realize at first glance is that there's an entire other dimension of attraction wafting through the air. Scents. And I don't just mean someone's cologne. I mean the natural scent we each carry. That's the hidden ingredient that can make you suddenly feel more attracted to someone without even knowing why. Sounds mysterious? Well, there's actually science behind it. Let me take you back to some fascinating research. In 2004, a study was published that examined how men perceived the natural scent of women during different phases of their menstrual cycles. In this experiment, men were asked to smell t-shirts that had been worn by women at different points in their cycles. And no surprise here, the results were eye-opening. Men overwhelmingly rated the scent of t-shirt worn by women during their fertile phase as more pleasant and more attractive. Why, you ask? It turns out, during ovulation, a woman's body emits more intense, but still subtle, and appealing chemical signals, pheromones. It's like nature's way of turning up the volume on her attractiveness when the time is ripe for reproduction. These pheromones subtly inform men about a woman's fertility, and their brains respond even if they are not aware of it. The men in that study weren't told anything about the women, but their noses picked up on the signals. Just like a dog picking up a trail. I mentioned the year 2004. Back then, the best movie of the year was The Lord of the Ring, The Return of the King, which swept 11 Oscars. But perhaps the most intriguing achievement was what scientists accomplished through the Gravity Probe B mission, measuring the curvature of space-time and confirming Einstein's theory of relativity. It's fascinating to think that while we are capable of understanding the complexities of the universe, we still struggle to fully grasp what influences something as fundamental as human attraction and partner selection. But that's not the only research out there. Another study I want to talk about was conducted by Craig Roberts and his team. They were curious whether men preferred the scent of women who were on hormonal contraceptives versus those who were not. They found that women on hormonal contraceptives were perceived as less attractive based on their scent alone. Why? Well, the theory is that hormonal contraception dampens the very signal that would indicate fertility. And remember, these natural signals are what's driving much of the unconscious attraction. It's fascinating, almost ironic situation. We put on deodorants, lotions, perfumes, all to mask our natural scents and make ourselves more attractive But in doing so, we might just be hiding what makes us the most appealing at a primal level. Maybe, just maybe, there should be a balance between smelling fresh and allowing a bit of your natural self to come through. This reminds me of the earlier Wedekind study, the one where women preferred the scent of men with different MHC genes. It seems like scent plays a vital role not only for women choosing men, but also for men choosing women. It makes you wonder just how much of our attraction to someone is really in our control, or if we are all simply responding to ancient biological cues programmed into us. Let's consider the broader implications of this for modern dating. If you think about it, most of the ways we meet people today are through dating apps, where we rely on photos, bios, and witty one-liners to judge whether someone could be a good match. We swipe left or right based on look, but we miss an entire dimension of what makes someone attractive, their natural scent.
Przepraszam. Ten zapach jest niesamowity. Co to za perfum?
Nie używam perfum.
This brings us back to the idea that chemistry isn't just a metaphor, it's quite literally chemicals at play. Imagine you finally meet up with someone who seemed perfect online, but when you meet in person, there's something missing. It might not be your imagination. It could simply be that your natural sense don't align in a way that creates that subconscious attraction. And speaking of natural chemistry, did you know that men are also influenced by subtle changes in a woman's appearance that occur during ovulation? Studies by Haselton and Gildersleeve have shown that women often look and even sound different, slightly different during their fertile phase. Their skin may glow more, their voices might be slightly higher pitched, and yes, their scent is also different. All these little cues can add up to make a woman seem more attractive without her even trying. It's as if nature itself is giving her a temporary boost to help in a dating game. But before we wrap this up, let's not forget that while biology plays a huge role, attraction isn't purely deterministic. Even though our senses are picking up on cues that influence our feelings, the conscious part of our brains is also involved. We're more than just our primal instincts, values, shared experiences, humor, and emotional connections all shape who we find attractive and why we choose to be with them. At least that is what we want to think. So what does this mean for us? Should we stop showering, ditch deodorants, and let nature do all the work? Well, maybe not exactly, but it's worth remembering that there's more to attraction than meets the eye, or the nose, for that matter. Our natural scents carry messages that go beyond any cologne or body wash. So next time you feel a certain spark, remember that maybe, just maybe, it's not just in your head. It could be your nose making the decision for you. Now let's take a quick pause here, okay? Below this video, you will find a poll with the question: would you risk not showering for 2 days before a party to see if someone reacts to your natural scent in a sexual way? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this exploration of scent and attraction as fascinating as I do, go ahead and don't click the thumbs up and don't subscribe for more insight into human behavior, sexuality, and relationships. And I am curious, have you ever noticed someone's natural scent affecting how you feel about them? Like, I don't know, a teacher, a coworker, a friend? Share your stories below. And just so you know, in the future, I plan to make a huge movie about procrastination. But now, thanks for watching. Until next time.